Good morning, Camp Hill. It is March 1st, 2019. My name is Mark Ziegler. I'm the high school principal. Yep, and March has come in like a lion. Much like February, the winter weather has been a factor in being able to carry out our annual course selection night. And at this point, given that course selection night, as far as the process is concerned of selecting courses, has run its course, it just makes sense that we're going to cancel this for this academic year and re-engage with it again next academic year. Hopefully, we'll have some better weather on hand to carry that out. But certainly, I wanted to just follow up though with the PowerPoint that we would use in the opening act of course selection night and introduce you or reintroduce you to some of the key players involved in the process. And also point out some of the key changes that would have been made to the course selection book. So as far as the people are concerned on the ground, human resources to address questions or concerns moving forward, Mrs. DeBias, she is a counselor for grades 6 through 8. Mrs. Ivy, she's a high school counselor with students with last names A through K. Mrs. Ecker-Taylor, she works with students with last names L through Z. And then Mrs. Jamie Doy, she's our career counselor, district-wide K to 12. Again, the course selection timeline looks like this. And again, it was on the 26th of February, which was the deadline for students to make their selections and also to enter those into the student information system or the portal. And what happens from there is essentially we're going to do some sorting of the data, do some analysis of what selections are at play, in other words, what students have chosen, and make determinations as far as sections are concerned. And then eventually we use that data to make the master schedule. I'll talk a little bit more about the master schedule in just a minute. It also should be noted too that as far as, we're right now, it's March 1st, but it is not until September 6th, which would be the official last day to make any scheduling changes. So the master schedule process is indeed one of the more complicated things that we do around here in terms of the organization of an academic year. There's a lot of factors that go into it. Every year it's a challenge. Every year it's very interesting in terms of how things shake out. But just a couple of the factors that would be, key variables in making determinations. Like I said before, what our students are entering into the system right now very much will determine how many sections we need of something. So, for example, CP English 11, how many sections would we need by that? It's determined by how many kids are signing up to take that course from year to year. Whether that's 4 sections, 3 sections, it depends on size of the class, that kind of thing. And every year, again, these are factors that have to be understood as sort of going up and down. Specifically, we have growing enrollment, and next year in the high school, we are without a doubt going to have a lot of students working with us in high school classrooms. Well over 400 again is going to be our number. So let's talk about the updates for the 2019-20 school year. First of all, we are certainly making all kinds of progress as it relates to career development programs. Mrs. Doy, our counselors, have been making all kinds of great contacts and looking at models that other schools present and coming up with different solutions as far as assisting kids and helping them to understand what their interest might be after high school. And can we, for example, put them into an internship that gives them good exposure to a career, a profession that they might find interesting. Obviously, nothing is terminal with these kinds of decisions, but at the high school level even, we're trying to very much craft a program that allows our students to tap into their interests and make meaning of that from the perspective of obviously selecting classes, but also considering what kinds of internships might be out there and available to our students. The other change that is worthy of noting, again, significant changes from to the course guidebook, is in the Department of Physics. So our AP Physics program, which was once really based upon algebraic concepts, is now going to be largely based on calculus principles with an emphasis on mechanics. So that's going to be a critical change. CP Physics would still be very much reliant upon algebraic concepts. And our honors program also would be largely based upon algebraic concepts too. So just some shifts as far as the math that would be involved in taking our physics classes. That was a change that we incorporated for next academic year. A name change to CP Data Analysis and Coding, and that now is just going to become CP Computer Science. That would be again, within the science department. That's an elective course. Typically, there's just one section of that running. As far as PE is concerned, certainly this is a topic that has a lot of variables in it as well. We're talking about physical education. We are going to utilize this idea as far as moving forward. We are not changing any of the credit requirements for PE for our high school students. We are, however, going to pack essentially the PE requirements or have those completed for most students by the conclusion of their junior year. In other words, create blocks of sections of PE that would be incorporated in the same day and period as their required health class as well. So for example, days 1, 3, and 5, students would take health, and days 2 and 4, we're going to incorporate the PE requirement in there as well. And if the juniors take that, essentially their PE requirements are going to be complete by the conclusion of their junior year. Now there will be some juniors who will not be able to fit this in their schedule, and or we are just filled to capacity. Some juniors might actually have to fulfill their requirement in their senior year. In other words, in their junior year, it's not going to work, but we're going to satisfy that requirement in their senior year. The other thing is too, because we certainly want to have give seniors the opportunity to take PE as an elective as well. So any senior that would want to take PE in their senior year still could sign up for that course as an elective. And once again, in the course guidebook, you'll also see that it's noted that we have plenty of semester electives too. We're trying out this model to see, to understand and to make determinations as far as trying to maximize student enrollment in our electives. And in some cases, it just makes for a cleaner course when we're taking a semester course that meets 5 days a week. Mr. Morella's classes, for example, having continuous tech construction 1, meaning 5 days a week, it just works from a perspective of being able to complete tasks without the interruption of a day in between. Like I said, it's just a more fluid approach to doing courses. Again, just to reiterate, there are no graduation requirement changes as far as the number of credits that a student is required to earn. It is still 25.1. The VOTEC students have a slightly different formula, which requires them to have 25.5 credits. Again, this conversation is largely past tense, but we are always asking our students and families to consider, in this process of finding the right courses, I think a key word in all of this is balance. We all know our Camp Hill students work hard and they are engaged in a lot of different activities, and in and outside the classroom, clubs, sports, marching band. We typically have kids with dense schedules, and we want there to be certainly some balance in there in terms of what it is that they can handle. They won't, obviously we're going to sort of bake into that formula what are future goals. So those are the kinds of conversations that your student would, or will have with their counselor in making different selections as far as their courses are concerned. Now, what we couldn't do in this kind of format, which will resume for next academic year, is we would have breakout sessions where the VOTEC would have an opportunity to speak with a more intimate audience there. We talk about internships and career opportunities, again, have a room for them to talk about those kinds of opportunities, dual enrollment, our Global Scholars Program, and our AP courses. Since we don't have that opportunity for this academic year, again, please forward any questions about any of those programs to our counselors or to myself, and we can direct you to the right people from there. So, I will really very much conclude here. I appreciate your patience through all this. I certainly missed the night myself. I always enjoy seeing so many of our families out for that evening. We are going to be back at it again next academic year, and I wish only the best moving forward for each of your students. And we're here to support their future. So we are happy to continue to work with you, and hopefully we'll have better weather this spring as we begin the fourth marking period in just a few weeks. Have a good one. Thanks.